And it must also be said, for better or worse, while being briskly paced with a heavily action-driven narrative and a tremendous sense of fun, the film feels entirely eclipsed by its... Welcome back to my channel, DC fans. Breaking news, in case you haven't heard, but the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. As today we are discussing Black Adam in this spoiler-free review. Nearly 5,000 years after being bestowed the almighty powers of the Egyptian gods and being imprisoned just as quickly, Black Adam is freed from his earthly tomb and is now ready to unleash his unique form of justice upon the modern world. And I am someone who's not only a DC fan, but I idolize The Rock both as a performer, entertainer, and as a human being ever since back in his wrestling days, which was when he first demonstrated interest in becoming Black Adam on the big screen. So this is a project that has been a long time coming, not just for us DC fans, but for Dwayne Johnson himself. And there's this refreshing throwback nature to the film in its entirety, where shades of X-Men and Iron Man permeate the entire film. It echoes back to the early 2000s, where superhero films had to prove their merit as legitimate stories, worthy of being told. And it also reflects The Rock's relentless passion for the project, where a larger-than-life deity believably touches the same ground and inhabits the same world as us mere mortals. A recurring theme in any great DC story, and one that is certainly felt better here than in many other DC movies. And on screen as well, Johnson's presence is undeniably massive, in a role more nuanced than he's sure to get credit for, as he introduces an intriguing new dynamic to the wider DCU. One that delivers a fulfilling character journey for him while also leaving room for growth, fully embracing and never betraying his nature as an anti-hero, constantly focusing on the threat he represents should he use his power irresponsibly. And it needs to be said, while little glimpses of the rated R version of this film can be seen here and there being cut away, I truly admire how they kept true to the sense of violence and brutality that inherently comes with Black Adam's raw strength and power. Even in PG-13, the film and Dwayne Johnson himself just never fail to deliver the hype as the ultimate embodiment of power, wrecking shop left and right in incessantly fun ways, be it with dismissible cannon fodder or with the Justice Society themselves. The four of them are a really fun bunch with their dynamic and banter as a mix of veterans and newbies of the superhero world, and also work as great connective tissue to the already existing DCEU. Atom Smasher is essentially relegated to lamely wink at the camera in the only attempts at humor that never land, but Quintessa Swindell's Cyclone and her power set are a feast for the eyes. I was in constant awe of the beautiful swooping bursts of blues and greens amidst the golden-clad Kandak overtaken by dirt and heat, while Aldous Hodge's Hawkman, the team leader, is fantastic as a righteous foil, ideal of American heroism that contrasts Black Adam's gray moral compass, and the pair make some of the most exciting and exhilarating action sequences of the entire film. But perhaps to no surprise, Pierce Brosnan's Dr. Fate is the absolute standout of the ensemble, bringing so much gravitas with a commanding role as the world-weary hero haunted by visions of the future. His sequences are a showcase for Jean-Claude Serra's visual creativity, another element of the film that is bound to not get the credit it deserves. There's so much visual invention on display with Dr. Fate's powers, creating unforgettable set pieces not just for this movie, but for the DCEU as a whole. However, the real heart of the movie is in the Kandakian family that essentially adopts Black Adam after freeing him from his tomb, worshipping him as the hero of legend they believe him to be, giving us insight into Black Adam's inner struggle of living up to this ideal. We're allowed to see how much of a tormented soul he is, and the way the film explores that is really compelling. It gives me shades of God of War. A ton of the visuals when we have flashbacks going to the past, be it at the beginning or spread out through the film, really gives you those grand, legend, epic vibes. And that's where this film thrives, because it makes for a compelling case for this character and how others see him, and how does he struggle with that in this new world where he doesn't have anything left of his old life. And that's the most surprising element of this film. In its grand scope, Colette Serra manages to tackle compelling themes of power, the morality that comes with it, and the correlation between the two when at the disposal of people. Do we corrupt power, or does it corrupt us? It speaks to the efforts made in bringing such a character to life, and the passion is felt through and through, from direction to the visuals to the pacing to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson himself on screen. It is undeniable, but it doesn't leave the movie without faults. We've mentioned a few up until now, but there are more grating issues, particularly in the third act. That section is when the film's ambitions are too heavy to be carried, it feels immensely rushed, and shares many similar issues to other DC predecessors, particularly Wonder Woman. The film latches on so strongly to this idea and notion of Black Adam's moral ambiguity, where that could have been the entire film, but it still bothers in having this weak, secret villain that plays little to no part in how the movie plays out, leaving little to no impact, and just filling in all the generic gaps of a conventional superhero script of the 2000s, much like the entire film is harkening back to, just doesn't always land in that sense. And it must also be said, for better or worse, while being briskly paced with a heavily action-driven narrative and a tremendous sense of fun, the film feels entirely eclipsed by its mid-credit scene. This is not so much a commentary on the film's shortcomings, and it has plenty of those, but rather on how massive the mid-credit scene. It finally gives the DCEU a sense of purpose, which was so sorely lacking. It's the shot in the arm it has long desperately needed. It is the highlight of a really fun movie that just gets entirely overshadowed by its last note. It's kind of a good problem to have when you're always going to remember this movie, you're just technically not going to remember the story it told. But before we fly over into my final thoughts on Black Adam, I need you to start the conversation about it in the comments below. What was your favorite moment? Who is your favorite superhero introduced? And what do you want to see next from the Man in Black? Anything and everything down there. There's a spoiler review coming, there's a mid-credit scene breakdown coming as well. And if you're enjoying this review, if you want to see those, or if you just love movies and TV, this is the place to be. So consider clicking that subscribe button and you won't miss any future conversations on your favorite movies and TV. Black Adam is one badass movie where The Rock delivers his most intimidating and imposing performance, while also being surprisingly layered with commentary on the morality of power, on top of an engaging style, creative visuals, and Lorne Balfe's engrossing score. DC's path is finally clear and its future seems bright. I'm giving Black Adam a B. And that is my spoiler-free take on the Man in Black's DCEU debut. Thank you so much for watching. More Black Adam-centric videos coming very soon. I hope to see you there. Thank you to my channel members for always supporting the channel. And so until the next one, love each other and love the movies.